Now, you won't believe this, but this is a brand new 2025 sports sedan available with a 6-speed manual transmission, and you know it's fast because, well, there's red. This is the 2025 Volkswagen Jetta GLI Autobahn, and it's one of the few cars you can actually buy new with a manual transmission, and it's a pretty good one at that. Now, of course, there is an available automatic, although in my opinion, you should go with the 6-speed. On top of that, it's a lot of fun to drive. It gets great fuel economy, making it an awesome daily driver, and it's even affordable with a starting price of $32,715. And in my opinion, it has all of the features you could possibly ask for, especially in a car at this price point. Under the hood is an EA 888 turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, producing 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, with a max boost of 36 psi, paired with a 6-speed manual transmission or 7-speed DSG automatic, and limited slip front differential with differential lock. The price is the same for the manual or automatic transmission, and the locking front diff locks up quite nicely, resulting in strong acceleration out of turns. The GLI weighs under 3,300 pounds and features a 0 to 60 time in around 6 seconds. The sporty sedan is still quite economical with an EPA-rated 26 miles per gallon city, 36 miles per gallon highway, and 30 miles per gallon combined. And given the 13.2 gallon fuel tank, that gives you a combined range of 396 miles. So next, let's go ahead and take a look at the exterior of the 2025 GLI, which has actually been updated and now looks way more aggressive, particularly here in the front. They gave it full LED lighting all around the car, and then obviously we have to talk about the red, not just in the GLI badges, but as you can see, there's actually a variety of red accents throughout, which, if you didn't know, actually add horsepower. They don't, but that's what I would like to think. There's some other cool options for this as well. This particular car actually has the black package, so as the name implies, it adds a lot of black, including the black roof, and that is available on a variety of different color trims. And you, of course, get the mirror caps and even your black 18-inch alloy wheels, which also have more of that red in the form of the red calipers to make it look a bit more sporty. And then while we're there, I actually want to talk about what's going on underneath the car as well as a sporty sedan. It does feature fully independent suspension, and it even features an adaptive chassis control unit, which is kind of a cool thing to have for this car, especially at this price point. You also get full disc brakes and electromechanical power steering, which is all lovely. Now, we also have a GLI badge here on the side. I love to see the multiple use of badges. Some manufacturers, in my opinion, just don't add enough. You actually have these heated side mirrors that can be folded in with the integrated turn signals. You also have keyless entry here on the front 2 doors. You also get the sunroof. And then as we continue here to the back, everything looks pretty standard. And in the back, more GLI badging. We have that light bar theme, and I do want to show you the trunk because when you open it, it opens all the way up for you, almost like it's spring-loaded, and then you get easy access to the back, which is very, very spacious for a sporty sedan, especially at this price. And then down below, we have this cool hexagon pattern and a dual exhaust, which is a lovely addition for any sports sedan. Moving on to the interior, we have this incredibly sporty look to it, and I love what Volkswagen's done here, and it happens to be this 2-tone finish. We have a gray and a black, but you can also see more of the red theme throughout. We have all this contrast stitching, and it goes even under the dash and the center console, and even red here on the very sporty steering wheel. On top of that, even the door cards match, and they have this very cool presentation. It makes it feel like a very, very premium interior. Now, let's go ahead and climb inside this vehicle itself and see what all we've got going on here. Now, obviously, we have 2 different digital displays here, one of which, of course, is going to be for your main gauge display, and this can easily be adjusted via your controls here on the right side of the steering wheel. You can thumb through all of the different settings, and then within those settings themselves, you have multiple options that you can actually skip through if you want to check out specific instances, and even change the orientation of the actual 2 displays that you have currently up. In this case, this one actually shows the gear you're in on the left side and your speed on the right, which is great. You also have adaptive cruise control here on the left with your regular cruise control options for adjusting everything, and the steering wheel itself is very, very sporty and is comfortable in the hands. As we take a look here at the center console, obviously this is another touchscreen display here. You can see you have some quick access buttons here on each side of the display, along with these adjustment knobs. Currently, we have what I think is the coolest feature of this component, and that's the fact that you have this sort of performance gauge cluster that you can pull up. In the middle here, it's actually showing you boost, and of course we have temperature and even a G-force meter here on the side. You can adjust this to show all sorts of information, but it of course has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for smartphone integration, which is all actually run through a Beats sound system throughout the car, which I wouldn't say is an amazing sound system, but it's just fine, especially for a car at this price point. So fairly feature packed in there. It's not oversized, it's not demanding, and when you have these extra gauges up, I feel like it's pretty good at just sort of blending in with the rest of the car, and it doesn't stand out and take your view away. Now below that, we have what are the more controversial aspects of this car. I'm going to go and move the shifter out of the way, and you can see here we actually have the haptic or capacitive touch controls here for the climate control system. Now personally, I think the controls are incredibly easy to use. You can see you can easily turn things on with the touch of a button, or even actually adjust your controls or the fan speeds themselves quite easily. Now where I think the problem comes in is all of this can be kind of hard to do while driving, and that's where the real complaints come in. Now they've tried to outdo some of that to make it easier while driving, and that's why you see these indentations here so that your finger slides in here and you know exactly what it is you're adjusting, and obviously you can hear the fan change. And then obviously these also have the same indentations down below, so you can kind of figure out where you're at, but you do kind of have to take your eyes off the road to use this, and that does make it less than ideal. Moving below that, we do have our 6-speed manual shifter, which is just lovely and matches the rest of the interior. The square part can be a little bit weird, but trust me, you don't really think about it while you're driving. You get some USB Type-C chargers in addition to a wireless charger. You have your start stop right here. You have an electronic parking brake. I would have loved to see a physical parking brake for a manual car, but that's okay. Your mode, of course, is going to be your drive modes, in which case I find sport to be quite good, but you also have comfort, normal, eco, and then custom, and then traction control, and your 12-volt are over here on the right side. You do have these cup holders, which aren't overly helpful, and then you do have a little bit of a storage pocket here in the back. Up high, you have the normal features you would expect, including some of your assistance features, storage cubbies, lights, and other settings. You do, of course, get these sun visors, which work fine. And then over here on the left side, we do have our actual controls for the headlights, and of course, our power windows and power mirror adjustments. You also get these nice stainless steel footrests and the pedals themselves, which is a nice touch for this car. And overall, I think this is actually a really good interior for this car, especially for the money. It does feel more special, I would say, than a standard Jetta, and it does the job just fine with giving you exactly the features you want. Like, I mean, with sport seats like this, with great bolstering, it's not the most bolstering you've ever seen in a sports car, but honestly, I think this is great for a street car, and the fact that they're heated and ventilated makes it that much better, especially if you live out in the desert like I do. Then those ventilated seats really come in clutch, especially for the money. So great on the inside. The Jetta seats a total of 5, and here in the back you have a ton of room. I'm actually 6 foot even for reference, and with the driver's seat set up for me, you can see my knees don't even touch the back, and my head has plenty of room. The seats themselves are quite comfortable, and I could easily sit back here for an extended amount of time, which means not only is this a fantastic sports sedan, but it's incredibly practical as your only car and a daily driver. So what's it like to drive the Jetta GLI? Well, I'm just going to start with this. This car is a ton of fun, and given all of the features and amenities that this car offers, especially at the price point, I don't think you could ask for anything else. The only thing that I think stops this car from being an absolute powerhouse on the entry sports car market is the fact that the exterior styling, while it's not bad, let's say, there's a lot of it which just kind of gives off regular four-door sedan vibes, aside from the red and some additional kind of aggressive features. And sure, you could change the wheels, and that does a lot for the exterior appearance of the car, but that doesn't actually fix everything that's wrong with the car. And I think that's what stops people, because they look at it and go, oh man, is that a Jetta? It doesn't matter that it's an awesome turbocharged 4-cylinder with a 6-speed manual that has crazy amenities on the inside. Unfortunately, for some reason, that's not enough to sell a car these days. People also need it to look crazy, or whatever the case is. I don't think it's a bad looking car by any means, and it drives so well. What's interesting is the really high boost even for this car. It seems like it's always got power. Even if you're in 6th gear cruising on the freeway, it still feels like it can accelerate and pull quite easily without having to downshift, which I think is an awesome feature. It's just pretty unusual how great this car feels. The steering isn't that heavy. It's light, but it's not numb either, which is always nice. The whole electrical mechanical thing is kind of obviously a nice blend, even though the E-Pass tends to get rid of a lot of the feeling that you get in an actual steering system. The car sounds pretty good once you have it in the actual sport modes. You get a little bit more feedback. It's still too quiet for my taste. In terms of general visibility, it's all really, really good. I found myself to be quite comfortable in terms of how I was able to set up the seating position. The steering wheel's comfortable. The seats are really comfortable. They're not like super heavily well bolstered, as I mentioned earlier, but I think they're perfect for a street car because it's not hard to get in and out of. Sometimes with these super aggressive bucket seats, it can actually be hard to get in and out of the car. And so I think this is kind of a nice blend while still being heated and ventilated. A lot of those nice bucket seats also sacrifice ventilation and are maybe, if anything, only heated. The A-pillars are quite narrow. They look like from certain angles that they could be thick, but they're not. They don't obstruct your vision at all. You get fantastic fuel economy in this as well. I never fell below 30 miles per gallon while driving with this thing, and that's both going uphill to northern Arizona and doing a variety of just fun, sporty, enthusiastic driving. I am just so genuinely impressed with this car. I think the aftermarket can heavily improve the exterior styling characteristics, and so I don't think that should deter people from buying this car. The other thing that really did impress me was the sound system. I don't think that's really a big deal either, because most cars around this price point aren't going to have a phenomenal sound system, and I think this is just fine for what it is. So honestly, I think if you're looking for an entry-level sports car, anything around this budget, like if a GRD6 just seems a little bit too small for you, definitely check this thing out. This thing is just a ton of fun, and I hate to say that I'm surprised by this, but it is just really good. You know, Volkswagen does have this kind of simplicity recipe of making a fun sports car for the people that they've just kind of building for a while now, I guess really since the 70s. And this car just feels like it continues that. And I know that certain aspects aren't for everybody. Not everybody likes the addition of screens or the capacitive touch, but I think some of that is blown out of proportion. The capacitive touch thing, I think, works really well. I haven't had any issues with it other than, like I said, it can be a little bit distracting to try and use it while you're driving because it does feel like you have to take your eyes off the road to correctly use it. Even with those indentations they added, physical buttons are always, I think, the actual better move, and sometimes you don't need to change everything if it works to have the physical buttons, which is why you always hear people talk about the Golfs, and specifically the Mark 7.5 version of the Golf, in terms of what they like on the inside. But this car's a lot of fun. It's reasonably quick. It's not gonna, basically take you to jail immediately for having fun shifting through the gears, and that's really the best you could ask for in a car like this. So I'm just incredibly impressed. I'd be curious to know what your guys' thoughts are. If you've even bought the car prior to the facelift, if you prefer the facelift, let me know your guys' thoughts on the 2025 Jetta GLI down below. With that, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it and could leave me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. Consider getting subscribed for more content like this in the future. And of course, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.